Sometimes you feel that there's this void inside of you, that there's this emptiness inside of you, right? And no matter whatever you do, that emptiness, it just doesn't go away, right? For some reason, you cannot fill that void inside of you. So you try to look for ways to fill that emptiness, to fill that void, right? You look for it in a relationship, a friendship, a family who understands you, who respects you, who supports your decision, right? So you do what you're best at doing, and that is you pour out all your feelings, all your love for them. You give them all the love that you are capable of, right? You care for them, you show up for them, you make efforts for them, right? And all you wish is for them to do the same for you, because that is how you think your void's gonna be filled, right? And even if they do, right, even if they do love you back, even if they do love you with the same intensity that you are loving them, for some reason, it's not enough, right? You need constant reassurance. You need constant, like, give me the evidence that you love me. Prove it to me, right? You asked for proof so many times. You asked for their reassurance. You ask for evidence, right? You tell them that you love them, you tell them that you trust them, but for some reason, you still need that evidence, right? And even if they do tell you, even if they do prove you that what they think about you is true and that they are not lying, right? And that you are capable of love, you are worthy of love, for some reason, you just cannot accept it. And you just cannot understand why. Because you are surrounded with people who love you, right? You are loved by your partner, right? By your friends, you have supportive people around you, but for some reason, that void is still not filled. You still feel empty, you still feel that emptiness inside of you. What if that emptiness that you feel, what if that void that you feel, it was never their job to fill it for you? What if the love that you are so desperately pouring into everyone else was meant for you? Like, you were supposed to pour that love, that efforts, that attention, that kindness into yourself, for yourself. What if it was your job to fill that void, to fill that emptiness that you always felt? And this is what Rosé figured out. In 2016, BLACKPINK debuts. And from the very first note Rosé sings, something happens. People stop, they listen, they feel something they cannot quite explain. Her voice was unlike anything K-pop had heard before. Raw, emotional, completely unmistakable. And from that moment, she never stopped working. For 8 straight years, Rosé gave everything. Tours, album, schedules, performances, press, repeat. No real breaks, no real pause, just showing up for the group, for the fans, for everyone who needed her. Her mind never truly rested, and neither did she. From the outside, it looked like success. From the inside, she was running on empty. And then something changed. After one of the biggest world tours in music history, the members decided to take time for their individual projects. For the first time in 8 years, Rosé was on her own. No group to lean on. No members beside her, just her voice, her name, and her album. And the anxiety hit immediately, because when you're doing something that you have never done before, that's terrifying. Even when you're talented, even when the whole world loves you already, right? Even if you're surrounded with people who love you, who support you, who genuinely want you to succeed, you still feel that anxiety. You still feel doing something that you have never done before. Like, that's terrifying. You still feel that it's terrifying. And that inner voice, she starts degrading you. She starts demotivating you, saying things like, what if I'm not talented enough, right? What if people will not love me? What if I was just part of something bigger? And what if I'm not capable of something bigger, right? What if I was not talented, right? Or like, what if the people around me are lying that I'm actually talented and that I can actually do it, when the reality is that I can never do it? And that anxiety is normal. It happens with everyone, right? If I'm doing something which I've never done before, obviously I'm going to feel that anxiety. Obviously I'm going to feel that it's terrifying, right? And if you're doing something which I've never done before, obviously you're gonna feel the same thing. But this is what Rosé did differently. So there she was, alone for the first time, anxious, uncertain, and questioning everything. And she had choice. Either she could let that anxiety win, she could let that self doubt talk her out of it, right? Wait until she felt ready, or she could do it anyway, without caring for what others are going to think about her, without caring for all these expectations that people have from her, these image that people have of her. She didn't need to be part of something bigger to matter. So she went into the studio, and instead of performing the version of herself that the world knew, she showed up exactly as who she was: vulnerable, emotional, honest, and completely herself. And she wrote from that place. And in December 2024, Rosé releases her album Rosie. 12 songs, every single one written from the most honest part of herself. Rosie debuted at number 3 on Billboard 200. And her album was the highest ranked album by a K-pop female soloist ever. And the girl who was terrified doing everything alone was breaking records doing exactly that. And here's what her story teaches us. And that's the void that you feel, that emptiness that you feel, it's never going to go away unless you pour that love for yourself, unless you keep that love for yourself, right? You show up for yourself. I mean, the love that you were so desperately pouring out on other people, right? Like making efforts for them. You need to do that for yourself. I'm not saying that don't give your love to others, don't put any efforts for them. Obviously, go ahead, pour your love, because that's a very beautiful thing, right? And people who feel everything, all they can do is pour their love, pour their feelings into others, so that they will feel the same thing that you're feeling, and that's completely fine, right? Go ahead, do it, but don't ignore yourself. Because if you're feeling that emptiness, that's your sign that all the love that you are desperately pouring outwards, you need to pour it inwards. And it was only when Rosé, she turned inwards, she started connecting with herself, she started understanding herself, she started understanding what triggers her, right? What makes her anxious, what makes her mental health unstable. Like, when you start connecting with yourself, then you start growing, because Rosé, she made that album when she was at that place, from that place. Most important thing is she found what she was looking for all along, and that was herself. While making this album, she found herself, she healed, and she moved on from all the traumatic situation that ever happened in her life, right? She left it there and she moved on. And that is what we have to do, because look, traumatic experiences, they are scary, right? They scar us, right? And it's not easy to move on from them. But that's the only way that you can ever be happy in your life, is when you leave them behind and you move on. So start pouring that love inwards, not because nobody loves you, right? Or not because you would never get the love that you always wanted, because that's just not true, right? People love you, you are worthy of love, and you will get love. But first, you need to connect with yourself. First, you need to know who you are, really, like who you are. Nobody can complete you the way that you can. And no one can do it for you, no matter how much they love you, no matter how much you love them, right? Unless you show up for yourself, unless you do that work on yourself, you pour that love inwards, nothing's going to work out, and you would still feel that emptiness, you would still feel that void, and you would chase after external validation, you would chase after that reassurance, that evidence, right? All you would want is for people to tell you that you are capable of love, and even if they tell you, you won't believe it, because you just don't know who you are, and you have never poured that love inwards, and that's just not how things work, and that's actually injustice towards yourself. I'll ask you this before I end this video, and that's, what are you going to do with that void that you feel, with that emptiness that you feel, right? Either you can work the way Rosé did, or either you can sit with that emptiness, you can sit with that void for the rest of your life, always waiting for someone to fill it for you. So that is it for today's video. And if you like my video, then like, share, and subscribe my channel, and we'll meet next time. Bye bye.